Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today we are going to discuss the coordinate plane. You should see a picture of a coordinate grid here on your screen. And I believe I posted a link that would allow you to print a blank grid out if you have access to a printer. If you do, I would highly recommend to print a couple copies of that because you're going to be using them a lot this week. If you don't have access to a printer, you can create your own on a sheet of graph paper or even a sheet of notebook paper just with a roller. Kind of set up some grids and number your number lines. So let's talk about the coordinate plane. So here's a picture of our coordinate plane, and it is essentially just a grid that allows us to plot different coordinates and points on it. Two of the most important parts of the coordinate plane are the x-axis and the y-axis. Now the x-axis is the number line that runs left and right. It is the horizontal number line. And because it is horizontal, it runs left to right. Positive values on the x-axis go to the right of 0. Negative values on the x-axis go to the left of 0. The y-axis is the axis on the coordinate plane that runs up and down vertically. So we're going to call this the vertical number line. And on a coordinate plane or on the y-axis, starting at 0, positive values go up and negative values go down. So we're going to use both these axes to plot various points on the coordinate plane today. Next thing I want to talk about, the quadrants of the coordinate plane. Now, if you look at the x-axis running horizontally and the y-axis running vertically, you'll notice that the axes break the coordinate plane into 1, 2, 3, 4 different regions, and each of those regions is called a quadrant. So we're going to start up here in this quadrant in the upper right-hand corner of the coordinate plane. Here, the x values are positive and the y values are positive. We're going to call this quadrant 1, and we do a capital Y because that is the Roman numeral for 1. And in quadrant 1, all x values will be positive and all y values will be positive because quadrant 1 has the right side of the x-axis and the upside of the y-axis. Now we're going to continue numbering our quadrants, starting at quadrant 1. Imagine like you're drawing a C. If I drew a C with my pen would start here and I would draw in this direction. So we're going to number our quadrants in that order. So over here to the left, this is going to be quadrant 2, and Roman numerals say 2 is 2 capital I's. So quadrant 2 is over here in the upper left-hand corner. Now look what side of the x-axis is in the second quadrant. These are all negative values to the left. So all x values are negative, and we're still using the upper side of the y-axis. So y values in quadrant 2 will always be positive. As we continue our C, the next quadrant we would hit is this one down to the left. That's quadrant 3. We're going to do 3 capital I's for a Roman numeral 3. Now look at the x-axis in quadrant 3. It is the left side of the x-axis, meaning all x values are negative. And now we get the downside of the y-axis making up this quadrant. So all y values are negative as well. All values in quadrant 3 will be negative. And we're going to finish up over here on the bottom right. This is quadrant 4. To do 4 in Roman numerals, it's a capital I followed by a capital V. And we get the positive side of the x-axis and the negative side of the y-axis. So in quadrant 4, x values will be positive, y values will be negative. All right, let's talk about actually plotting a point on a coordinate plane. And for our example, we're going to plot the ordered pair 2, 4. If you printed out some coordinate planes or you created some on your own, now's the time to practice plotting with me. Steps are over here on the side. We're going to start at the origin. The origin is where the two axes, where the x-axis and the y-axis intersect. Its ordered pair is 0, 0. So we're going to start at the origin. And then we're looking at our ordered pair. Now, every ordered pair will have 2 numbers in it. The first number in an ordered pair is always the x value, and the second number in the ordered pair is always the y value. So we're going to use the x coordinate, that first number in the ordered pair, to move left or right on the x-axis because the x-axis runs left and right. Now, looking at the ordered pair 2, 4, the x value is a 2. In fact, it's a positive 2. So we're going to move 2 units. And because that 2 is positive, we're going to move to the right on the x-axis because positive values are to the right. Now we're going to use the y-coordinate, in this case 4, the second value in the ordered pair, to move up or down along the y-axis. Because 4 is positive, we're moving up. So from the origin, we're going to move 2 to the right because our x-axis is positive 2. And then we're going to move up 4 because the y value is positive 4. When we get to that coordinate, we're going to plot a point. And then we could label this whatever point would be in the example. We could call this point A if we wanted to. Okay, let's try a couple more of these. Keep your coordinate plane out and graph these with me. Now we're going to plot point M at -3, 5. Now remember, in our ordered pair, the first value is always the x value, tells us to move left or right. The second coordinate tells us to move up or down. That's your y value. So our x value is -3. We're going to start at the origin, that intersection of the two axes. And because our x value is negative, we're going to move to the left. And in fact, we're going to move left 3. So from the origin, we're going left 3. Now the y value is a positive 5. Positive is up on the y-axis. So we're now going to move up 5, plot our point, and we can label it point M. So there is the location of point M from the origin, 3 to the left, and up 5, -3, 5. What quadrant is this in? If you remember, this is quadrant 1 up here in the top right-hand corner where all values are positive. Your C means that M landed in quadrant 2. All right, next point I want us to graph. Point S is at -4, -1. If it helps you label these values, X always comes before Y in the alphabet. That is true for ordered pairs as well. So my X value is -4, my Y value is -1. Starting at the origin as always, an X value of -4 says we are moving left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to move -1 on the Y-axis. Negative means down in the Y-axis. We're going to move down 1. Here's our point. We can label it point S. And now finally, what quadrant is it in? 1, 2, 3. S is in quadrant 3. All right, now let's do point P. The ordered pair is 2, -5. If it helps you to label, your X value is 2. Your Y value is -5. Again, X always before Y. Starting at the origin, an X value of +2 means 2 to the right. And then a Y value of -5 means we are going down 5. Plot your point, label it. In this case, it's point P. And then what quadrant is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. P is in quadrant 4. All right, here I have a series of ordered pairs I want you to try graphing on your own. So print out a blank coordinate grid or draw one on your own and then graph these points A through G. Pause the video to complete this, and once you've graphed all 7 points, resume playing the video to check to see how you did. Also, don't forget, after you've graphed the point, I want you to identify the quadrant that each of these points are located in. Hopefully you gave yourself enough time to complete the graphing of these points and labeling their quadrants. Let's go over it together. A is at -5, 1. So from the origin, we are going left 5 and up 1. Here is point A, and that is in quadrant 2. B is at 3, -3. That means 3 to the right and down 3. Here's point B, and that is in quadrant 4. C, -1, -4. We're going left 1 and down 4. There's point C in quadrant 3. Point D is at 2, 2. Means we're going 2 to the right and 2 up. Point D located in quadrant 1. E, -4, 0. Means from the origin, an X value of -4 means 4 to the left. A Y value of 0 means we are not moving up or down at all. So we're going to plot point E right there. Now, point E falls in between the second and the third quadrant. It's actually on an axis, so we're going to identify its location as being on the X axis. F, 0, 3. Starting at the origin, an X value of 0 means we are not moving left or right at all. And a Y value of positive 3 means we're going up 3. Here's point F. Again, point F is in between quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. It falls on an axis, so label its location as such. It is part of the Y axis. And finally, G is at 0, 0. An X value of 0 means we are not moving left or right. A Y value of 0 means we are not moving up or down. It is at the intersection of the two axes, and we will call that location the origin. Please complete the independent practice assignment for the coordinate plane. Take a picture of your work and upload that file for submission. Take care, guys.